The word simultaneous equation is terrifying to most pupils or students. You now have to solve for x, solve for y, solve for c. Now, are you struggling with simultaneous equation? Do you find it difficult to solve simultaneous equation without the help of your teachers? Now, this video is for you. And if you are yet to subscribe or you are watching this channel for the first time, I want you to hit the subscribe button and make sure you put on the notification icon so that you can get updates whenever I post a new video. So today's class, we will be dealing with simultaneous equation. I'll be using two methods to solve the same question. I'll be making use of the elimination method and the substitution method to solve the same question. So you will be the one to make the choice whether you go for substitution, whether you go for elimination. So let's move in together. Let's dive into this class. Let's solve the questions on the board. Now, if you look at the question on the board, we're having a simultaneous equation. We're having 5r minus 6s equals to 2, r minus 3s equals to 4. For this question, I'll be picking the elimination method first. Now, when it comes to elimination method, you have to get rid of one of the unknowns. Then you solve for the value of the unknown that is left. After you have the value for the unknown that is left, you now go back to the unknown that you thrown away in the first place, then solve for it. Now, if you look at this question that we have on the board, we're having two unknowns. The unknowns are r and x. Now, how do you get rid of one of the unknowns? You must make sure that the one of the unknowns must have the same coefficient. Now, let's go for r. Let's get rid of our r now. Now, if you want to get rid of our r, we must make sure we must find a way to make r have the same coefficient. Now, this is our equation 1. This is our equation 2. Now, how do I make for the two equations to have the same coefficient? You know that the coefficient for r in the first equation is 5. So this 5, you use it to multiply the second equation. Now, the coefficient for r in the second equation is 1. So you use it to multiply your what? Your first equation. So that will be 1 times 5r. You see, have your 5r minus 6x equals to 2. Let's see that this is our equation 3 now. Now, you use this 5 to multiply the equation. So that will be 5 times r. We are having 5r minus 5 times 3. That's 15x. And what's your 5 times 4? That's 20. So that's equation 4. Now, what's the next thing? Now, the next thing is to subtract. We're going to, now that we are r has the same coefficient, we're going to subtract equation 4 from equation 3. So this is how we do it. You put your minus sign here. 5r minus 5r, it will cancel each other. Now, if you look at this now, you know that minus times minus will give you plus. So this minus for 15s will turn to plus. So minus 6s plus 15. That will give you what? Plus 9x equals to, now, 2 minus 20. That will give you minus 18. Now that you have minus 18, what's the next thing? The next thing is what? You divide both sides with the coefficient of x. And what's the coefficient of x? The coefficient for x is 9. So if I divide both sides with 9, what are we going to have? That means 9 will cancel 9. You have x. And 9 here 1, 9 here 2. So your answer is what? Minus 2. So x is minus 2. Now that we know that our x is minus 2, we will have to solve for r now. Now, you can make use of any of the equations. Let me pick equation 1. You know, equation 1 is 5r minus 6x equals to 2. And you know that our x is minus 2. So you substitute, whenever you see x, you substitute minus 2. Now let's go. 5r minus 6. Now, instead of writing x, it will be minus 2 equals to 2. So what's the next thing? 5r. We're going to use this minus 6 to multiply the minus 2. Minus times minus, that will give you plus. 6 times 2, that will be what? That will be 12 equals to 2. The next thing is that we are going to move this plus 12 to the other side, and it will turn to minus 12. You are going to have something like this: 5r equals to 2 minus 12, and that will be 5r equals to, what is 2 minus 12? That will be minus 10. The next thing is what? Divide both sides with the coefficient of r, which is 5. So you have 5. Divide both sides by 5. So 5 will cancel 5, and 5 here 1, 5 in 10, that's minus 2. That means that our r is also minus 2. So now that we have solved for our x as minus 2 and r as minus 2, let's check. We want to check whether we are right or wrong. So how do we check? You just pick any of the equations Let's pick equation 2. You know that equation 2 is r minus 3x equals to 4. Now you input the values that you have for each of the variables. Your r is minus 2. So instead of writing r, I'll write minus 2 minus 3 bracket. What is x? X is also minus 2 equals to 4. Then you move on. Minus 2. Minus times minus, that will be plus. 3 times 2, that will be 6. Minus 2 plus 6, that's 4. Can you see that we have 4 equals to 4? That shows we are correct. Now, for this second one, I will be making use of the substitution method. In substitution method, you have to solve for the unknown. After solving for one of the unknowns, then you now input one of the unknowns in another equation. Now, look at now. This equation 1. This equation 2. Now, I will be solving for r from equation 2. So, I'm going to start from equation 2. R from equation 2 can turn to r equals to 4. We move this to this side plus 3x. Now, this equation 3 now. Now that we have solved for r now, you now substitute. You substitute equation 3 into equation 1. So now, you know, 5 equation 1 says 5r. So instead of 5r, it will be, r is now 4 plus x, so it will be 5 brackets 4 plus 3x minus 6x equals to 2. So you use this 5 to multiply everything inside a bracket. That will be 5 times 4, that will be 20 plus 5 times 3, that will be 15x minus 6x equals to 2. So you're having 20 plus 15x minus 6x, that will be plus 9x equals to 2. Now you move this 20 to the other side, it turns to minus 9x equals to 2 minus 20. And 2 minus 20 is what? Minus 18. The next thing is to divide both sides with the coefficient of x, which is 9. You divide both sides with the coefficient of x, which is 9. So 9 will cancel 9, and 9 18, that's 2. So your x is minus 2. Can you see now? Even though we use a different method to elimination method, the x is minus 2. When we use the elimination method, we also have our x as minus 2. Now, the next step is what? To solve for r. How do we solve for r? It's very simple. You know that equation 3 says r equals to 4 plus 3x, right? That is 4 plus 3. Then instead of writing x, you know that our x is now minus 2. You have minus 2. That will be 4 plus times minus is what? Minus. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 minus 6 is what? Minus 2. Our r is minus 2. Can you see that now? We still have our r as minus 2. Let's check to confirm whether we are right or wrong. Let's make use of the second equation, which says r minus 3x equals to 4. Do you get that? Now r is what? Minus 2 minus 3. And now what's x? X is also minus 2. Now if you look at this, minus 2 minus times minus, that's plus. 3 times 2, that's 6. Minus 2 plus 6 is equals to plus 4. 4 equals to 4. This shows that we are correct. For this class, I want us to go for one more example so that you can understand the method and you settle for either elimination or substitution. So the one that you are comfortable with, you just pick it up. Now we'll be dealing with another example. Okay, let's move on to the last question for today's class. You're having 3k plus 4l equals to 1, and you have 2k plus 5l equals to 3. Now for this question, we are making use of the elimination method. This is our equation 1. This is our equation 2. Now we need to look for the coefficient of the unknowns. Now if you look at this, for k in the first equation you're having 3, for k in the second equation you're having 2, for coefficient of l in the first equation is 4, for coefficient of l in the second equation is 5. So we want to get rid of k. Let's get rid of k. And how do we get rid of k? You interchange the coefficient. You know the coefficient for k in the first equation is 3. So I'm going to use that 3 to multiply my second equation, while the coefficient for k in the second equation is 2. I'm going to use that 2 to multiply my first equation. So 2 times 3 will be 6k plus 2 times 4, that will be 8l equals to, right? And 3 times 2, that will be 6k plus 3 times 5, that will be 15l equals to 3 times 3, that's 9. So this will be our equation 3, and this will be our equation 4. The next thing is what? Subtract equation 4 from equation 3. Now let's move on. 6k minus 6k will be what? It will cancel each other. Now 8 minus 15, that will be minus 7. Minus 7l. Now 2 minus 9, that will be minus 7. So you divide both sides with the coefficient of L, which is minus 7. So that will be minus 7, minus 7. Minus 7 will cancel minus 7. Minus will cancel, minus 7 will cancel. So your L is 1. Our L is 1. Now we can move further to solve for K. So we can pick any of the equations we're having. We can pick, let's pick equation 2. For equation 2, we're having 2K plus 5L equals to 3, right? So what are you going to do now? We just move on by inputting the value for L in the equation. That will be 2K plus 5. Instead of writing L, you have your 1. Bracket 1 equals to 3. That will be 2K plus 5 times 1, that's 5, equals to 3. That will be 2K equals to, move the plus 5 to the other side, it turns to 3 minus 5. We have what? Then we'll move on. Let's make use of the little space that we have. We have 2K equals to minus 2. 2K equals to minus 2. And what's the next thing? Divide both sides with what? The coefficient of K, which is 2. We divide both sides with coefficient. That will be 2 cancel 2. You are left with K. And 2 here 1, 2 here 1. Minus 1. K is what? Minus 1. Now let's check. We want to check. If we are to check, we want to check whether we are right or wrong. We can pick any of the equation to check. Now the equation 1 says that 3K plus 4L should give us 1. Now that will be 3. What's our K? Our K is what? Minus 1. That will be bracket minus 1. Plus what's 4L? What's L? L is 1 times 1. Now 3 times minus 1, that will be minus 3. Plus 4 times 1, that will be what? That will be 4. Minus 3 plus 4, that will give you 1. 1 equals 1. This shows that we are correct. Now let's use the other method. Let's use substitution method to solve the same question to see whether we are going to have the right or going to have the same answer. We're having 3K plus 4L equals to 1 as our equation 1. We're having 2K plus 5L equals to 3 as our equation 2. This time around, I want us to solve for L first. Let's solve for L. So I'm going to start from equation 1. Now, you know that from equation 1, we can say that 4L equals to 1 minus 3K. Yes, all you need to do, just move this 3K to the other side, it turns to minus. Then you have L will now be what? You divide both sides by 4. Divide both sides by 4. So L will be 4 will cancel 4. L will be what? L will be 1 minus 3K over 4. This will be our equation 3. So the next is that substitute equation 3 into equation 2. Now equation 2 is what? 2K plus 5L equals to 3. So that will be 2K plus 5L. But our L is now 1 minus 2. That will be 5 bracket 1 minus 3K over 4 equals to 3. So you move further by solving it. 2K by opening the bracket, 2K plus, so 5 times 1, that will be 5 minus 5 times 3, that will be 15K over 4 equals to 3. So you solve it. This will be over 1. Then you look for the SM. The SM for 4 and 4, for 1 and 4 is what? 4. 1 and 4, that will be 4. So you have 4 bracket 2K, then plus 4 and 4, 1 bracket 5 minus 15K equals to 3. Now 4 times 2, that will be 8K plus 1 times 5, that will be 5 plus times minus, that will be minus 15K over 4 equals to 3. Now we can collect like times. You know that this is 8K now. 8K minus 15K, that will be what? Minus 7K. And 7K plus 5 over 4 equals to 3. What's the next thing? Cross multiply. And it's multiply by 1 will still give you the value by, so you will have it minus 7K plus 5 equals to 4 times 3, which is what? Which is 12. Now that'll be minus 7. Okay, you move your plus 5 to the other side. That'll be 12 minus 5. Now that'll be 7k equals to 7. You divide both sides by minus 7, which is the coefficient of k. They cancel each other. You cancel each other. You are left with 1. So k is 1. Our k. Okay, we are dividing with minus 7 now. Minus 7, rather, sorry. We are dividing with minus 7, and this will be plus. Plus divided by minus, that'll be minus 1. K is minus 1, minus 1. We divided with minus 7. Minus 7, we cancel minus 7. Now this is what? Plus 7. 12 minus 7 is plus. So plus divided by minus, that will be minus. 7 is 7, that will be 1. K is minus 1. Now let's solve for L. We're going to clean this side that we can have space to complete our work. So we want to solve for L now. 3k plus 4L equals to 1. Now 3k, that will be 3. That will write k. You know I'll solve for k as minus 1. 3 brackets minus 1 plus 4L equals to 1. 3 times minus 1, that will be minus 3 plus 4L equals to 1. We are going to move the minus 3 to the other side. That will be 4L. So instead of minus 3, turn to plus 3. That will be 1 plus 3. That will be 4. 4L. So what's next? Divide both sides with what? With the coefficient of L, which is 4. So 4 will cancel 4. L. 4 in 4, 1. So our L is 1. K is minus 1. What's the next thing? Check. Let's check. Check. And we have to check. Let's pick maybe equation 2. 2k plus 5L equals to 3. Now k is what? Minus 1. 2 times minus 1 plus 5. What's on your L? 1. 2 times minus 1, that will be minus 2 plus 5. So minus 2 plus 5 is what? 3. 3 equals 3. Can you see that we are correct? Now we have come to the end of today's class. Thank you for being part of this class. Don't forget, if you are yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button and remember to share with your friend. Thank you.